Hey, friends, family. Uh, I've been asked by a few people about trapping and uh, trapping for food, and because of all this virus stuff and everything, and uh, some of them was asking what all they would need and uh, what all it consisted of and everything, and so I thought I would just take time here and show you a few traps that I use. And now I'm not saying nothing against primitive trapping. Uh, by all means, set your primitive traps if you're allowed to. Uh, and in the case of an emergency, who cares? Uh, but if you're gonna do it legally and all, every state has their own laws. Um, Here in which it don't make sense, but here in Georgia, the biggest foothold we can use is a number 2 trap that on land. You can use any size you want in the water, I reckon. Um, Now, a conibear or a body grip trap, we can use on land anything that is, I think it's smaller than 9 inches, which would be a 280. We could use a 280 on land by the Georgia rules. Now, as far as everything that you will need, I'm looking around to see if I got my empty container of Full Metal Jacket, but I don't see it. But let's introduce you to some traps. The first trap that I'd like to introduce to you, they're body grip traps, but this is a 110 conibear. That's what we call them, conibears. They're good for, if you wanted to catch squirrels. You can easily set them by hand. I'll show you. You can just you got to squeeze these springs. You're going to have to use both hands. But you squeeze them. And now this here, these 2 wires here, that's your trigger. And here's your dog. That first notch, I'll show you the notches here in a little bit. But anyway, don't ever, always grab a hold here before you turn it loose with this hand here. Because, I hope it don't do it, but sometimes they'll snap you. Now these right here, they'd probably just sting a little bit. But another one, the bigger ones I'm going to show you, will actually put a hurting on you. And what happens is the animal will come and will hit these triggers. And these are kill traps. Now, I wouldn't try for nothing no bigger than a muskrat, a mink, or a squirrel with these 110s. They make another one that is a 220, or a 120, excuse me. They make a 222, but they make another one that's small like this that has 2 springs, and that's called a 120, same size and everything. Now, some people will take and flatten these whiskers out here and put a piece of wire from here to here, because I mean, if you put like bait here for a squirrel, he might be able to eat it, because we had some right here and he just licked it off. But if you put that wire there, there's no way he can not bump into that and set it off. Now, when I was talking about with these, you have 3 notches. That first notch here is it's a light setting, yes, but it don't hit as hard as this one back here. So this one back here is what it's gonna do is it's gonna close it more up here and give it more spring power. So, and they're light. I mean, they don't weigh nothing. Throw about 6 of these in your backpack if you had to. They'd be fast setting. You could set it and be gone. And they're not that expensive. Man, I don't know if you can see it, but this is a Duke now. And Dukes, can you see that gap right in there? They're not built as well. Can you see the play in the bolt there, the rivet? But they'll serve the purpose. And if you're bugging out or something like that and you're on public land, you don't want to buy expensive traps anyway, because if somebody sees them, they'll steal them. And Duke's is a lot cheaper as far as you're not going to lose that much. But yeah, these are 110s. Then they make the 120, which has got the other spring on the other side, and you'd have to compress both of them. So then you would probably need to use a tool to squeeze this down, because you'd have a safety catch that you'd have to put to where you could set the other one. But they all set the same. And I have got my hand caught in these, but not down like this or anything. It's caught me across the hand, up around the thick part, and I had a glove on and it didn't do much. But some people say, you know, if they smack you on the fingers, that it could break a bone. And I figure one day I'll find out. I've been caught by just about everything else. So anyway, and about all you're going to have to do is you'll have to stake them, which, you know, I've got a video up on how to stake them. So, or how to put stakes on them. And as far as treating them, I mean, if you're going to use them in the water, just paint them and then use them in the water. If you're going to use them on land, I would still paint them, but I would dip them, and it doesn't matter, you can dip all of them anyway, in Full Metal Jacket. All that's going to do is help prevent rust and knock down your human odor on them. And a gallon of it don't cost much. I've been using a gallon of it for a couple of years now, and I'm doing about, I think, 40 traps. I can't remember. Of course, I'm going to have more because I just bought more new traps and going to buy more. But 110s, great to carry in your backpack. Also, if you're going for squirrel, and I'm going to tell you, I caught a possum in one time. It held that possum there, but that possum was still alive. I know some people say they're going to catch coon and stuff like that with these. Not with a 110, I don't think. I would go at least with a 160 if I was going to try to get coon or possums. That's me. And then I want to show you this one. Now this one here, you definitely have to use a tool to set it. And you definitely do not want to get your hands caught in that, because it will break them. And I'm not too sure. I mean, look, you can see my whole head. But these are good for coons. A lot of people use these for coons. These are good coon traps. And you remember I was telling you about the little clips? Well, here's one of them right here. And it'll latch onto the bottom of this when you set this one. That way, you know, you're safe. These are new traps. I got to treat them and all. Also, I don't like the way that's on there. This chain's on there, so I'll be changing that also. But you can also build boxes if you're worried about your dog getting in them. Now, there's no way you're going to keep cats out of them. Because a cat, if he can get his head through something, he's going to go in it. But you can build boxes to where a dog can't, because this will kill a dog, to where that dog cannot stick his head in there. But a coon can easily go in and trigger it. But this is a 220. Now, I got a stick stuck in there. This is a long spring. And when you start getting into the long spring, you're going to be looking at more weight, because it's got all this extra steel here. So instead of this long spring, which I like to use them anyway, but instead of using this, I recommend this. This is a 1.5 coil spring. It will catch coon, skunk, bobcat, muskrats, and some people say they've actually accidentally caught a coyote in them. But, you know, like I said before, if you're trapping for food, that's a little bit too tight too, especially for a coon. You could probably, the 110s are lighter than these, but you could probably throw 3 or 4 of these in there. And these, you can also paint them and dip them in Full Metal Jacket, and they're ready to go. The next video I do, I'll be showing you how to set all these up and how to bait and everything, where you can actually get some catches. Let's see. Now for coyotes, this is a brand new trap. This is a number 2. And it's 2 coiled. You can see the coils back here. But I'm going to take and make it a 4 coil. That's what these here's for. Which, you know, it's easy to do. You just slide your springs on here, flop them behind these ears. And what it'll do is it'll give you a little more speed. Excuse me. It'll give you a little more speed and a little more holding power. I'll also, as I go to treat these, I'll show you how I'm going to do it and everything. And because I ain't even got a anchor on this. But I've got a lot more coming. But this is a number 2 bridger. And yes, I have some dupes. I don't like using them. But on, like I said before, on public land, I don't want to lose one of these. So I'll use the Duke. These I use on private property. But that'll hold your bobcat, that'll hold your coyote, just about anything that'll step in it. And this is a brand new one too. This is what they call a dog proof. And this is a Freedom brand, #1. And these are the easiest to set. All you have to do is, I ain't gonna set it, but it's just push this lever in, which is hard, and it'll click to this dog here. And the thing is, this here has the push and pull trigger. That means if the animal pushes down on it, it'll set it off. If he pulls up on it, it's gonna set it off. So I kind of like these better. Also, now you can buy stands that you can put these on a tree root and they'll stand like this. A lot of people paint them white to attract the coon. These are made for coon. Now sometimes you might get a skunk in them, but a dog is cannot get his paw in there unless it might be a Chihuahua or something might be able to. But and all this does is hold them until you get back there. These, I'll wash them, and I'm gonna try to paint some of them white, because a lot of times I'll use PVC pipe to draw animals into my sets. Now back to the conibear. How can you put them on a tree? Well, first of all, the way you can stake them is to drive a nail and bend it over, or use them fence staples to drive it in. And then these right here, what they are is sheathing clips, plywood sheathing clips. And I'll do a video on how to use these also. But you bend these, are cheap. You bend these, and then you can just kind of hang your trap, your 110, onto a tree, onto a limb or whatever. Or you can even use them on these 220s, you know, on the log crossing, like if it's crossing the creek. A lot of animals like to use that. You can set it there, camouflage it up, which we'll get into all that. And the other thing you'll need is a good digging tool. And I don't know what it is with it. Oh. This is not a good digging tool, but it will work. I mean, you'll start figuring things out after a while, how to do things. And but this will work. And what I usually do is I use this. Excuse me a minute. Now this is I've got my other thing up there that I drive my anchors and all in with. I got it up there in my pack basket. But remember I said I was using a PVC pipe sometimes? Well, that's how I did it. And what I do is I'll put the bait in here, and depending on what I'm wanting, I'll drive it either all the way down, or I'll leave it up to where they keep their head up. But my driving tool that I drive my anchors down with is the same thing. It's just a piece of rebar, probably about 2 foot long, and I ground the edge off to fit that to fit the nipple. It'll go right down in there to drive them down in the ground. When you drive them all the way down. Because when you pull back up, it's going to come up a little bit out of the ground, but it'll set these to where they won't come out. Another thing you can do is you can actually get some clips, drive these into the ground, put a clip on it, and clip it around your ring. Which, you know, if it's a good spot, that's what I would do. That way you can pull your trap, unclip it, leave that there, And if you're just fur trapping, you can come back the next year because that was a good spot and just clip you another trap to that and keep on going. Just a few little helpful hints. But now when I drive that down, you know, you're going to have to put bait down. And if I'm putting like a dirt hole set in, I may take this and I may, I don't know, 3 or 4 inch hole, kind of at a 45, but I won't dig it but about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 inches deep. But then I will take my driver and I will drive it down in there and I'll waller out a hole. Usually it's about like that. And then I'll put my bait and lure down in there. And but that's what you're going to need as far as gathering food. Now the thing I like about these more than I like the primitive traps is they're quicker to set. I can use them over and over and over and over. These things will last you forever as long as you take care of them. Snares. I got some snares over there that are preloaded. I'm not even going to show them. But the preloaded snares, you don't have to have an engine, you know, that'll pull it up. When the animal bumps into it, it just automatically closes down on them. They're cheap. You can buy a dozen of them, depending on what you're after. The ones that I use for beaver, and they work good on beaver. And beaver is good to eat. They're 3/32, I don't know, probably about 3 foot long, which you can also put an extension cable on them. But once they're in it, they can't get out. It don't back off. And as far as bait goes for raccoon, you can use cat food, old dry cat food, marshmallows. Plus you'll get a lot of skunks though with marshmallows, but still I use them. Peanut butter. I've got some peanut butter made up. I put peanut butter, brown sugar, vanilla, and almond in it. Sorry, my phone cut off. It only allows you to record for so long. But anyway, all that's good for coon. As far as coyote or anything like that, of course, you can take just about any meat, let it spoil just a little bit, taint, and put it in the hole, and it'll draw them in. Now, with all that being said, and with all this virus stuff going on and everybody being in their homes and everything, I want to give y'all a little bit of encouragement. So I had brought my Bible out here. And I want to read Psalms 91. Let me see if I can get to it. Come on. And I know this gives me a lot of courage, but it's Psalms 91, and I just read the whole chapter here. And it says, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadows of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snares and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield, and you will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plagues that destroy at midday. 1,000 may fall at your right side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you make the Most High your dwelling, even the Lord, who is my refuge, then no harm will befall you. No disaster will come near your tent, for he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread upon the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpents. Because he loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. Folks, what that's saying there is, as long as you're going to follow God, put all your trust in God, follow him, trust in him, listen to what he has to say, you have no reason to fear this virus. Now, me saying that, I'm not saying for you to go out here and just live it up, you know, because, I mean, he does say, don't tempt the Lord thy God. So, you know, if you know somebody's got a virus, don't go over there to catch it. But if, you know, if you have to go out to get groceries, don't fear. Go get your groceries and come back home. You know, the Lord's going to take care of you. If you believe in him and trust him, you have nothing to fear. Because God is with us. All we have to do is ask him to be with us. Matter of fact, all we have to do is ask him, humble ourselves. We got to be humble. Humble ourselves and ask him, you know, Lord, heal our land. Heal our land. Take this away from us. He said he would answer. I believe he will. But we've got to get humble and start trusting in him for everything. We can't trust the government. I don't know what the government's going to be doing, but we can't trust them. Can't trust the president. I mean, I do, you know, I mean, I think he's a good president, but, you know, he's just a man. We can't really trust him. You can't trust your neighbor, even though you know him and been knowing him for years. You can't trust him. But put all your trust and faith in God. Love one another. Pray for one another. Lift God up. And I think if we all would do that, I honestly believe that this virus, this coronavirus or China virus or whatever it is, will have to flee. I think we could be safe from it if we just follow the Lord. Anyway, that's all I've got for right now. But I will be putting more videos up. Sometimes these allergies out here, they get me so bad I can't hardly breathe. I've been trying to clean my garden area, making it bigger. Pretty much my whole yard's going to be nothing but a garden. I'm doing a small scale farm. And anyway, thanks for watching. Best wishes to you. Stay well. Stay at home. Keep your hands washed. I love you. God loves you. Pray for me and I'll pray for you. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Bye.